the Victoria's Secret fashion show. It returned yesterday with new faces and big-name performers. A journalist for Elle magazine writes that while there was inclusivity, famous faces, lots of faux feather wings, does anyone actually care about the Victoria's Secret fashion show anymore?
No?
I'm so surprised.
Interesting.
So they've made a lot of changes over the years. Enoch, enough changes to make you a fan?
Well, look, I'm gonna be completely transparent. I don't know too much about, what's been going on with Victoria's Secret. The only time I would see that V is when my wife has...
Good
I'm not
answer.
gonna get
Good
there.
answer.
I'm not gonna get there.
That's
But-
my wife's in the room answer. Good answer.
But, my timeline on social media is very athletic, and I saw Angel Reese was on there. And to me, I think it's a step in the right direction, right? Having the ability to include different body types and different individuals that come from different places, all shapes and sizes. I just think it's more representative of society, and it's important to be able to include different people. And I came from, my background obviously is in football, and what I love about the game of football is that it is so inclusive. You could be 5'5" and be the most important person on the football field. You could be 6'3", 300 pounds, and we need you, right? Yeah. And so I think it's great whenever an organization tries to, or a company tries to kind of include different individuals from different places that look differently and kind of, to a lesser extent, make them feel more valuable.
More valuable, but is it enough? And I'm gonna say this as someone who used to be a fan of this show when it started, I don't know how many years ago. I'm out. I was tuning in and out just to see like how much had things changed. And what I saw yesterday was all performative, zero transformative.
Interesting.
And the reason why I say that is they are trying to rewrite the script of a book that they themselves wrote decades ago, which is to make women feel inadequate, and unless you were a size 00, you were not sexy, you were not perfect. That was the narrative that shows like that pushed on people like me. I remember being in my late teens or early 20s and watching one of the first Victoria's Secret fashion show when it mattered. And I'll tell you something, guess what would happen in the days following watching a Victoria's Secret fashion show? I would be dieting very, very hard. And you know where that comes from? Self-shame. And you know where that comes from? Looking at an organization so big that's telling us that is beauty, that is perfection. So I don't care that Ashley Graham was there, she's lovely, but the pillars of the show were still the OG angels. Adriana Lima, Candace Swanepoel, name all the top models, and you know what? They're still a size 0.
How do you take
out.
the step in the right direction, though? Is that like a step towards better?
Listen, I like the show. I actually did like the show, and I wasn't affected growing up as much, maybe because I just saw myself as like, I knew that I was 5'6", and I was never gonna walk that runway, so I just looked at it for what it was, which is a brilliant marketing campaign. Because when you think about it, Victoria's Secret is not even the top 5 when it comes to lingerie, when it comes to innovation and quality. But when it comes to name recognition, internationally, everybody knows it, right? And they had the perfect formula. You get the top models, you put them in your panties, you get a couple rock stars and a glossy set. You have to put it on television because the average person at home doesn't even get to see a fashion show, much less a lingerie fashion show. So whether you liked it or not, you're watching it because you're like, oh, there are all these pretty women walking around in their drawers and wings. I don't understand what's going on. And to me, that is the brilliance of what they've done. Have they made mistakes in their casting in the past? Yes. Have they tried to correct those wrongs? Yes, but at the end of the day, what I look at it is, it's just a fashion show with women in their drawers and high heels. Like, I'm not expecting to learn anything from that.
I hear you. It's just that, like, as somebody who loves lingerie, I had to think to myself, like, after watching the feed, coming up on my feed, there wasn't a single thing that I saw that I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy that. I still was just focused on the bodies, and even though, again, they included a pregnant woman, they included athletes, they included a lot of curve models, ultimately, I was still looking at their bodies. And so there, to me, is a kind of disconnect. And I think we have to remember that Victoria's Secret is only doing all this in response to what Rihanna had already done successfully right out of the gate. Right. They did this in response to somebody who was more successful, more authentic, more representational.
Inclusive.
More inclusive. And so this brand continues to feel, it's run by a man still, and that to me doesn't sit quite right. I was seeing also on my feed just these hilarious comments, people saying things like, this is so healing. And I'm like, it's a lingerie store. It is not a therapy therapy session. This should not be anything. It is
And that's my point. It's a fashion show with women in their underwear and high
I'm
heels.
just saying,
Nobody walks around
but if it
in
didn't make
regular
me
life
want
in high
to buy
heels.
anything, if it didn't make you want to actually go out and get anything, was it successful or not? I don't know. I don't know.
The fact that we're
talking about it.
I
We're
guess.
talking about it. I think
Marketing
they accomplished their
check.
thing.
That's my point.
my
You're
only
not getting
point is-
my money, just for the record.
All right.